The sound of a baby crying filled the air, but no baby had been born. It was a warm afternoon in our village when I saw Cynthia, the beautiful young woman, standing alone by the river. She was pregnant and her face was pale, fear washing over her like the rippling water. I had known Cynthia all my life. At 26, she was kind and joyful, always laughing and helping others. But that day, something was different. As I approached her, I could see the worry etched deep in her eyes. "Cynthia," I called gently. "What's wrong?" She turned to me, her voice trembling. "I feel something strange. The baby, it moves differently." I watched as she placed a hand on her belly, her fingers trembling. "It feels like it wants to come, but it isn't ready." I could see the pain in her eyes, a mix of fear and hope. We decided to go to the village healer, Mama Nia, who was known for her wisdom. The journey was quiet, the air thick with worry. When we reached her hut, Mama Nia was stirring a pot of herbs. She looked up, her expression serious. "What troubles you, child?" she asked. Cynthia explained her fears, and Mama Nia nodded, her brow furrowing. "Sometimes, the spirits warn us," she said softly. "We must listen." Mama Nia mixed her herbs and instructed Cynthia to drink them. "This will calm the baby," she said. Cynthia took a deep breath, and I could see the tension in her shoulders ease slightly. As the sun began to set, we returned to the river. Cynthia sat on a rock, her feet dipped in the water. I sat beside her, the sound of the flowing river soothing. "Do you think it will be okay?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I wanted to reassure her, but uncertainty lingered in the air. "You are strong, Cynthia. Trust in your body and the spirits." That night, we heard the cries again, but this time, it was different. It was as if the cries were echoing through the trees, deep and haunting. Cynthia grabbed my arm, her eyes wide. "Do you hear that?" "Yes," I replied, my heart racing. "It sounds like a baby." We rushed back to the healer's hut, fear guiding our steps. Mama Nia opened the door as we knocked. "What is it?" she asked, her eyes sharp. "The baby," Cynthia cried. "It's crying." Mama Nia closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them slowly. "Come inside," she said. "The spirits are close. We must prepare." Inside the hut, Mama Nia began to chant softly, her voice weaving through the air like a song. Cynthia held her belly tightly, tears streaming down her cheeks. I stood by, helpless but hopeful. Hours passed, and finally, the cries stopped. Cynthia's breathing calmed, and the tension in her body relaxed. It was then that I realized, the crying had been a warning, a call for help. Cynthia had faced her fears, and in that moment, she became stronger. As dawn broke, light flooded the hut. Cynthia looked at me, her eyes shining with a new light. "I feel better," she whispered. Days turned into weeks, and the baby came when it was ready, healthy and strong. The village celebrated, the air filled with laughter and song. Cynthia smiled, her beauty radiant as she held her child. That day, I learned the power of fear and hope, and how, sometimes, they can guide us towards strength we never knew we had.